My peoples, the next episode of Boxing for Breakfast about to kick off in a few minutes. Stay tuned, y'all. We talking boxing. Yeah. My peoples. My people. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know we talking boxing, man. It's Friday, it's the holidays, and let me say, man, good morning to everybody. Happy holidays. I hope all of you doing good, your family's good, you had a good Christmas and all of that. But we still gotta talk boxing, my peoples. Yesterday, somebody told me, yo, Jay, it's Christmas, man. What are you doing, bro? Let me tell you something. Mondays through Fridays, if my health is good, there's gonna be boxing for breakfast. It don't matter if it's Christmas, if it's my birthday, if it's a holiday. We getting boxing for breakfast, my peoples. And if it's Saturday and there's a big fight, we getting boxing for breakfast that Saturday and the next Sunday to discuss it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we got the Monster Naoya Inoue versus David Picasso. Of course, we got to talk about it. Of course, we have to address this fight. I've been hearing people telling me that Picasso is a cherry pick, that Naoya Inoue is going to make it look easy. This guy's a nobody. All of that stuff. But I'm here to tell you, my peoples, David Picasso is not a cherry pick. This dude is not a bum. This dude is not a guy that is there, just lucky to be there. He's there to win it. But I want to talk to you about this fight because it's going down tomorrow, and I see so many people that see David Picasso like a cherry pick, like somebody that now you know is just gonna run through. So I gotta talk about it with y'all, man. People really believe that. Before we kick this thing off, let me give a shout out to everybody tuning in. Yo, Toy Mafia, what's the deal? Side. Good morning, my peoples. Look, I'm gonna tell you about this fight, and you're gonna see the way that it plays out. Because it's already going down tomorrow. And I'm telling you, this is a real good fight. It is going to be more competitive than people think. You can take that to the bank to get some pounds, my peoples. But I'm going to tell you why I see it that way. I'm going to talk about both fighters first. Before, giving you the breakdown of how I see this thing playing out, I want to talk a little bit about both fighters. And I'll start off with the monster, Naoya Inoue. We know what he brings to the table. He's so popular and top 3 pound for pound in the world in almost every list that exists, that we're all very familiar with what he brings to the table. The power, the combinations, and just the aggressive nature, the way that he approaches his fights. Naoya Inoue is not there just to beat you. He want to destroy you. He want to hurt you. Look at the nickname, the Monster. He's there to be exactly that. And we've seen him be consistent with it, because he shows up to every single fight, and you see that approach of, no matter what you're going to do, I'm still going to beat you up. And I'm still going to hurt you, and I'm still going to stop you. I'm still going to land these brutal shots on you. He a problem. There's a reason why. Now, yeah, it's top 3 pound for pound in the world, undisputed in multiple divisions. Like, all of the accomplishments that he has, there's obviously a reason for that. All of us who've seen him fight, and that's most boxing fans have seen the Monster fight, know what he brings to the table. So for this fight, he's going to be his usual self. He's going to apply the pressure. He's going to try to disrupt, hurt, and ultimately stop David Picasso. Why? Because you can expect Naoya Inoue to apply pressure and use that power versus a fighter who's not known as a power puncher in David Picasso. Now, I got to say this, that I want you guys to take it into consideration. Picasso is a fighter who most people don't know, and they're automatically assuming that he's a bum, or that he's a nobody, or he's a cherry pick. And I'm telling you, I've seen the guy fight. He can fight. He has certain attributes that could make him a problem. Claymore Ring, David Picasso's heavy lead hand specifically has jab to the body, and its ability to time the Monster coming in with check hooks and straight right hands. Ooh, you see? This is where I was going with it, that this guy actually has the attributes, the tools and resources, but I meant the physical attributes to beat the Monster. I'm not telling you that he's going to beat him, but just hear me out. He's a guy who's, for his weight class, who's tall and has a lot of reach. He's going to have a huge height and reach advantage on the Monster. And he's very good. He has a whip-like jab, stiff jab, bang, bang. He's very good at keeping opponents at that mid-range, where he can work on you, but you still have to... he's going to make Naoya Inoue pay on his way in. However, we know the aggressive nature of the Monster, so he can wear you out. We've seen fighters have success, right? Naoya Inoue is not a defensive guru. He's there to be hit too. We've seen him hurt multiple times. We've seen him dropped. So he's facing a guy who's going to have that height and reach advantage on him, and is very good at utilizing it. We do have to understand, of course, David Picasso has never faced anyone nowhere near the level of the Monster. Can he step up to the plate? That's the thing. Can you outbox this guy and not get hit with those type of shots for 12 rounds? Or can you hurt the Monster and do, what some people think is the impossible? Frank, I am unimpressed with Inoue. He has no talent. He just has certified skeleton, like Chavez or Duran. Damn, but you're saying he has no talent and you're comparing him to Chavez and Duran? He therefore hits harder and doesn't feel punches. I mean, But your comparison is kind of like an oxymoron because you're saying he don't have no talent, but then you're comparing him to all-time greats. Aaron Hall, he'll lose. He's going to be the underdog. He's supposed to lose, right? He's supposed to lose. Now, how is this fight going to play out? God damn, my peoples. I've been here for 16 minutes. 0 likes. Why y'all doing me like this? What's good with the Ghost Watcher, y'all? I'm giving y'all a holiday episode of Boxing for Breakfast, man. And y'all ain't trying to double tap that screen. That's wicked stuff. But I digress. Claymore Rain. And that's right. Uppercut time correctly can cause the monster issues. Good body work can pay out if the champion in the championship rounds. I'm actually very interested in what Picasso can put together. Claymore Rain, let me tell you something, my G. You may or may not have noticed this. I haven't made a prediction on this fight. I know the monster is the favorite. I know what he's supposed to do, what he's always done. But I'm trying to tell you, I haven't made a prediction just because this dude, I'm wondering, can he pull it off? He makes me think about it. Aaron Hall, Duran was the best close-up and phone booth fighter ever. Come on now. Roberto Duran is an all-time great. If you're putting your name next to that guy, then that right there says a lot. That says a lot right there. But I have to tell you, my peoples, I believe that David Picasso is going to make it a lot more interesting than some people think. Because I hear a lot of folks saying, listen, man, Inoue is going to destroy him, knock him out in the first couple of rounds. And this dude right here, man, just because you don't know him doesn't mean that he's a bum. That's the thing. That's the mistake that people often make. They see a fighter that they don't know, that they've never seen, so they automatically assume, well, he can't be that good. I don't know him. Until they prove that they are that good. So we're going to see how this fight plays out. But I'm going to refer you guys to Bakram Murtasaliev. Who knew that guy before he pulverized Tim Tszyu? None of us knew him. A few people somewhere in Europe knew him in the local small areas where he was fighting. Small venues. Televised and local TV and stuff. So we didn't know him, right? And Tim Tszyu was not just a favorite, but expected to knock him out. Oh, Timmy's going to knock him out. Timmy's going to knock him out. Well, he gave Tim Tszyu the beating of a lifetime, my peoples. The guy that you didn't know, the guy that I didn't know, he showed up and did that. And is now one of the scariest champions in the 154 division. A guy that 2 years ago we never heard of him. Just 2 years ago we never heard of Bakram Murtasaliev. And this guy showed up and you saw what he did. So David Allen Picasso is an undefeated fighter that you don't know. And you can say, oh, he hasn't beat top-level opponents, but you don't know how good he is. Watch him and see what he brings to the table, or watch some tapes of him and see his skill set before you make a determination. Claymore Rain, Sam Noakes, perfect example, versus Abdullah Mason. Is this going to be a shootout? Picasso has to show maturity and poise, or he can get clipped early. No, I tell you what, I don't think that Picasso will make it a shootout or can make it a shootout. I think his team understand. You know, he's not a knockout artist. He has like 15 knockouts or something like that, right around there. So he's not a knockout artist. He's a guy who's going to go out there and outbox you. But He's a boxer who also likes to trade, and that could be a problem. If he gets suckered into a fight and it turns into a slugfest, he's not gonna go long. He's not gonna survive. But if he's gonna, and I'm telling you, I absolutely expect David Allen Picasso to use that footwork, use that quick jab that he has, and control the distance. Or at least try to. Now, all y'all you know is going to be coming forward. He's going to be applying the pressure. He's a master at cutting the ring. That's the thing about the Monster. You cannot dance circles around him because he's going to cut the ring in a way that you have to exchange with him. No opponent has been able to just dance circles around him. When they resort to, oh, I'm hurt, let me move, he's going to catch up to you. It's just that simple. So Picasso has to be on point with that footwork. I expect him to do that. Use that jab, that 1-2, try to time him coming in, try to make him pay when he has to close the gap, because that's the thing. Inoue is going to have to close the gap to be effective in this fight. He has the fighter in front of him who has that long reach advantage, who has that real good footwork. But again, Inoue is the type of fighter that you're not going to dance circles around him. He's going to be there in front of you. He's going to apply that pressure constantly. Can David Picasso hold up to that? Can he do that? Can he handle that pressure that's going to be applied? Because we all know what the Monster does once he closed the gap. We all know how he handled business. So it's all going to be about, can the taller fighter, remember I told you this, my peoples, we'll see that tomorrow. Can the taller fighter control the range? David Picasso does not want to make this one of those inside of the phone booth type of fights. If it turns into that, he's going to get hurt. He's going to get stopped. Claymore Rain, can Inoue make it a shootout? I've seen Picasso be bait into firefights, and that's what I'm saying. Picasso is a guy who can box, who's going to move around, who's going to use that footwork, but I've seen him multiple times, bam, 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 get put into a slugfest, and he'll return fire. But is he going to want to, be in that type of fight with somebody who can turn your lights off with one shot? Side, Inoue going to enforce his will in the later rounds. Jeffrey Bilingual. I don't know what the hell that means, bro. I just know that this fight is going to be competitive. It's going to be very interesting. All the people that are saying, oh, this is a cherry pick and the Monster going to knock him out in 2-3 rounds. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. And I want you guys to take this into consideration. Please take this into consideration. David Picasso is a young Mexican undefeated champion. And I'm going to just ask you the question. You're going to have to Google it. But when is the last time you remember? Don't even Google it. Try to tell me off the top of your head. A young undefeated Mexican to get knocked out. Who's the last young undefeated Mexican to get knocked out? Fuck it. Google it. I'm interested in knowing. Like, Mexican fighters are known. Like, you don't beat the crap out of me. You might outbox me. You might beat me up. You might... I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to keep going. Known for that shit. So Picasso, going with that tradition and his boxing skills, his footwork and all of that, this fight could very well go the distance. Even if he gets stopped, this fight could very well go the distance. Claymore Rain, Fernando Vargas was one. Maybe not the last one. Fernando Vargas. But damn, man, he went up against Tito Trinidad, man. God, And I believe, man, to this day that they messed up, man. Like he went up against Trinidad and De La Hoya too early in his career. You know that those fights should have not been made when they were. Even if he would have lost to them down the line, but I think those fights affected him going forward. They took a lot out of him. But I think bringing up that name also highlights the fact that it's hard to point it out. It's really hard to really find young, because once you get older, it's the same for everybody. But young Mexican fighters that are good, that are elite level guys, these guys is not getting stopped, bro. And if you look at it, and another thing that I want to point out, why that's impressive, is because of their style of boxing. Because you think about it, right? Let's say a slick fighter doesn't take as many punches. A guy that's moving around, he's not taking as much punishment. And their career could be longer. Mexican fighters, their careers, a lot of times get cut short because they take too much punishment. They take a lot of shots right there. Boom, boom, boom. That style of boxing is exciting, but sometimes it cuts careers short. Mr. Motivator, I'm back from 24-hour mute. Ooh, back in the building talking boxing. Bam! Naoya Inoue, Davis Picasso. They gonna fight tomorrow. Who you got? Yo, listen. My peoples, it's no easy fight. It's no easy fight for the monster, my people. Take my word for it. This is gonna be an interesting showdown. Remember, Picasso has the physical resources. The physical resources to disrupt what Naoya does. It's just, can he do it for 12 rounds? That's tough. That's problematic right there. Mr. Motivator, I don't think he stops him. Inoue by split decision. That could be the case. That could be the case. But let me say this. If Inoue wins by split decision, you know David Allen Picasso's stock is going to skyrocket right after this fight. Mr. Motivator, Picasso will touch the canvas. Get up from adversity and fight through it. Go the distance, lose by split decision. That's a reasonable take. Honestly, and I want you to consider this. I haven't made a prediction on this fight. Haven't made it. I have to. So, by the way, subscribe to Box Center 2.0 if you haven't done so. That's where I'm making my prediction. Ask Jay Stradamus. CG, Inoue will walk him down eventually. Ooh, you got the stoppage? When you say eventually, do you mean like mid to late rounds? I'm guessing, right? But just remember what I said earlier, or if you wasn't here. Young Mexican undefeated fighters rarely get stopped, bro. Look, I asked a question earlier. Who's the last undefeated Mexican fighter to get stopped that we could remember? And Claymore Reigns said Fernando Vargas, but probably not the last one. And I agree, there's probably somebody else. But it just shows how rare it is that it's that hard to find it. It's hard to find it, bro. Mr. Motivator, Picasso is only 5'8", but looks giant because Naoya Inoue like 5'3". They be trying to list him at 5'5", but he like 5'3". He real small. So we're gonna see that reach advantage in play in this fight. You're gonna see Picasso using that jab, using that movement. Can he control the distance? That's the thing. Mr. Motivator, is he Mexican style? No. That's the thing. Here's the thing. He's not Mexican style, but he can get pushed into it. I've seen him get pushed into that type of fight. So he can box, and he's there to box, but I've seen opponents pressure him into firefights. And I've seen him taking, but he's also shown that he got a chin on him. I've seen him take some big shots in exchanges. Emmett Trolley, I see that fight going the distance. I think it could very well go the distance. And not go the distance because Picasso's running and clinching and no. Go the distance because it's competitive. Because this guy's letting his hands fly, landing good shots, and giving the monster something to think about on his way in. Because that's the thing. Look at them right there. Picasso, I wish I could show you that. Look at their arms. Picasso, with that reach advantage, he's going to make the monster pay on his way in. Look, I'm going to even tell you how this fight plays out, except how it ends, because I honestly, right now, I don't know. That's why I haven't made a prediction. But I'll tell you how it plays out. You're going to see David Picasso using that whip-like jab, bang, bang, and trying to make Naoya Inoue pay on his way in, trying to time him, make a miss, make a pay. And he's good with combination punches and punch placement. You're going to see that in play. So as Naoya Inoue is trying to close the gap, you're going to see Picasso, bam, 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 trying to let the hands go and use the lateral movement, the angles. But while you see that, you're also going to see the monster trying to walk him down and going to the body hard. My peoples, hit that like button, man. Damn, though. 30 minutes, not even 20 likes. Why y'all doing me wrong like this? Double tap that screen. But let me tell you what the monster's going to do. He's going to apply constant pressure. You're going to see him going forward. You're going to see him going to the body. You guys know, for whatever reason, we don't say this enough. But we know that the monster's a body snatcher. We seen him stop people to the body brutally, drop people to the body. So we're going to see the monster go in there with that game plan of, I'm going to slow you down. That footwork that you're using, we're going to slow that down. And then by the time we get to the 8th to the 9th, we're going to punish you. If you can make it that far, we're going to punish you. We're going to slow you down. So you're going to see the monster going to the body of the taller fighter. Hard and consistently. Those headshots are always going to be there. But once he, I'm going to tell you right now because I've seen it. And because of the skin tone of David Picasso, let me give you another Nostradamus line. You guys are going to see David Picasso by the mid to late rounds where he's going to be red right here and right here. He's going to be red from those left and right hooks to the body that Picasso's going to land every time he closed the gap. Remember what I told you. And that's what makes the monster such a dangerous fighter. You're not going to dance circles around him. Forget about it. There's no possibility of you winning a fight against this guy where you're dancing circles around him and just pop, 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 moving around. That's it. No shot. That doesn't happen. Why? Because he's a master at closing the gap. When it comes to cutting the ring, he's a master at that. You're going to end up on the ropes. You're going to end up in the corner somewhere. It's the inevitable. That's the problem. You have somebody in Naoya Inoue who's not only a power puncher, but we don't talk about his footwork. This guy's footwork is elite amongst the elite. This guy's footwork is crazy, and we don't really talk about it like that. The way that he closed that gap, guys, I know you've seen it. If you watch the Monster long enough, you know when opponents are trying to back away from him? Let me show you. You know when opponents are trying to do their lateral movement or back away from him, and he does that real fast double step? Fa, fa, bang! You're not getting away from him. His footwork is crazy. That's what I'm telling you. There's a possibility that he forces David Picasso into a fight. If he forces him into a firefight, then it doesn't go the distance. If it, you know, because I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen Picasso get pushed into a fight. If you get into a shootout with this guy, it doesn't end well. That's simple. Side, them rib shots. The Monster is a body snatcher. That should be one of his nicknames. Emmett, I don't see David Picasso running, but maybe knocking down the Monster with a left uppercut, but not stopping him, but making the Monster not coming in so much. I think he's going to time him, catch him with a few good shots, bang, bang, and it's going to make the Monster more hesitant. It's going to make him think about it. But those who say that Picasso's a cherry pick, he's going to get knocked out early, he's not really all that, don't judge fighters that you haven't seen in the ring. Because, listen, there's people who actually want to see, right? And I told some people, okay, look, before you render your opinion, Google David Picasso fights and watch him. Just watch, because he's not fighting, obviously, this level of opposition. It's easy to see that. But watch his skill set. Watch what he does and how he moves. That's all I'm saying. Marie, I watched yesterday Inoue versus Akhmadaliev, and I saw the footwork. Crazy. Yo, the Monster has a level of footwork that is up there. I'm gonna put it to you like this. Shakur Stevenson, Naoya Inoue, Devin Haney, right there. Right there. That's the guy's level of footwork. Now, he doesn't have the same defense. Don't get it twisted. He don't have their defensive skills. But the footwork is insane. It's that level. The letter M, I hope Inoue get choked and knocked out. Whoa. Damn, you don't like the Monster? You don't like the Monster? Or you just rocking with Picasso? 310. Looks like another TKO. Salute, my brother. Listen, I believe if Picasso can make his fight, it can at least go the distance. And he doesn't get stopped. Which I mentioned earlier, my peoples. Young, undefeated Mexican fighters, it's hard to stop them dudes. It's hard to stop them, man. They could take a shot. Just think about it. Earlier, I asked, who was the last undefeated Mexican fighter to get stopped? And the name that came up was Fernando Vargas. And I know that someone after that has been stopped. But come on, man. Come on. The letter M. I acknowledge only one monster. The Mexican one. Whoa, the Mexican monster. David Benavidez. I think that they both can have that title, the Mexican Monster and the Monster, because they both earned it in the ring. They both caused the same level of destruction. So I think they both earned it. Glenn, Inoue will win this fight. Bank on it. So look, Naoya Inoue is the favorite. He's supposed to win this fight. You know, that's the way that it's supposed to play out. All I'm saying is, David Allen Picasso's not a cherry pick, like a lot of people seem to think. Picasso is a guy who's going to make it interesting. We know about the power. We know what Naoya Inoue brings to the table. And I said earlier, this is the way that the fight is going to play out. You know, we're going to see Picasso using that footwork, using that height and reach advantage. Look, this is how it goes down, my people. Let me show you. You're going to see Picasso, who's taller and has a good reach advantage. You're going to see him using that footwork and movement and timing Naoya Inoue coming in, because remember, the monster's gonna have to close that gap in order to land his shots. You're gonna see that little step back from Picasso and the counter punches, pop, 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 and the movement and the angles. You're gonna see him trying to outbox him, but it's like I told you guys. Nobody's gonna dance circles around Naoya Inoue because of his own athleticism and great footwork. So what happens is, whether you catch him or not, because he does take punches, he's there to be hit, he's been dropped multiple times, but he's gonna slowly but surely close that gap on you and apply that pressure. And I'm telling you, every time he closes that gap, you're gonna see the monster, bang, 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 digging super hard to the body and getting Picasso to drop that guard, to try to, you know, lessen the pain on some of those brutal punches to the body. I already told you guys, you're going to see the rib cage red on this side and red on this side of Picasso, because he has that real light skin tone. So you're going to see the monster trying to slow him down with shots to the body. Picasso moving around, trying to counter punch him, trying to put combinations together while getting clipped with some good shots. Remember what I told you. These young Mexican fighters can take a shot, my people. So it's not going to be easy to knock them out. If it's a knockout, it can happen, but I think it happens via an accumulation of damage. You're going to have to beat them up to stop him. You're not going to land one shot, boom, and he just go to sleep. That's not the type of affair. That's not the type of affair that is going to be tomorrow. Emme, Picasso is not to be slept on. He doesn't fight Mexican style, but he can go there, and this is boxing. We've been surprised before. Mike versus Buster. That's the reason why I brought up Bakram Murtasaliev versus Tim Tszyu. We didn't know that guy before the fight. We expected him to get knocked out. He gave Tim Tszyu the beating of a lifetime, bro. The beating of a lifetime. And we didn't even know the guy. Came out of nowhere. So I tell people, don't sleep on an undefeated fighter that you never seen, because they're a mystery. You really don't know how good they are. Now, I've watched Picasso. If you YouTube and you watch his fights, you'll see the guy can fight. He can fight. Clay Moraine, I agree. Picasso has the attributes, to be honest, the style, but his experience on the big stage may play a big part here. Like I said, patience and timing are going to be Davis' assignment. Inexperience. That's the one thing. You know, you're facing somebody that's way, way better than anybody you've ever shared the ring with. Can he, you know, step up to the plate? Because I tell you what, I think the first part of this fight, what David Picasso is going to have to overcome is the nerves. I think that going into this fight, he's going to be really, really nervous when he's in the ring and it's real, it's happening. He's going to be super nervous. We might see a very low punch output in the first round, first couple of rounds, or he might be too jittery and too jumpy and want to do too much. So that's the first thing that they have to worry about. That he goes in there, that he handles those nerves, he stays calm, stays composed, gets through it, and then goes to work. So I think those first couple of rounds, the monster, he's a fish in water. He's going to be a fish in water going to work right away. I think Picasso might take a couple of rounds to adapt to that big stage that he's going to be on. Glenn, talk the talk. Inoue will win this fight. It's not time in his career, but to win. And like I said before, he's going to be the favorite. He's going to be the favorite. He's supposed to win this fight. And he's even supposed to win it by knockout based on the stats, based on what we see on paper. But I say it's going to be an interesting fight. The least is going to be an interesting fight. Picasso's not just going to get knocked out and get made to look like a bum. And dare I say, after this fight, even if he loses, Picasso's stock is going to rise because of the way the fight is going to play out. Side, I think Picasso will give Inoue a tough time, but not enough to win. Claim or reign. I don't know, Jay Smith. He may try to smother the monster, although patience is the key. You gotta fight Inoue when he tries to box him. When he wants to fight, Inoue has it all. You gotta mix it up. I mean, I think Inoue is gonna force him to mix it up. He's gonna have to. But I think he's gonna minimize that. I think we're gonna see more of a boxer who's using those angles, using that movement. I'm not saying that he's running, but I'm saying he's gonna try to control that range and try to keep Inoue at the end of his punches, where I'm the one dictating. You come in, bang, I counter punch and move. And I'm trying to tee off on you from the outside. And I think that he's going to effectively use that reach advantage up until those body shots start to take effect. I think it's like I said, man, I don't see this guy getting washed at all. With his skill set, with his physical attributes, I see a competitive fight. I see David Allen Picasso landing some good shots, having his moments, winning some rounds. Can he maintain it for 12? That's where it gets difficult. That's where it gets difficult right there. Can he do it for 12 rounds? Can he be perfect? Because you have to be perfect. If he's not, I think that he could maybe hurt the monster. If he time him coming in, bam, maybe he could hurt him, even drop him. It's been dropped. He's there to be hit. But I don't see a stoppage. I don't see the monster's the type of fighter that I've already seen him take some nasty shots. I see him go down, get up, and destroy his opponents shortly after. We seen him get stunned. So the monster can take a shot from hard punchers. So the odds tell me the monster's not getting stopped. He definitely not getting stopped. He not the fighter that you stop in. Claim or reign. Now, Jay Smith, how do we feel about the stage in Riyadh? Will the crowd and energy be there for Inoue? Picasso may feel right at home with that intimate setting Riyadh offers. Inoue likes the crowd. I think the crowd, and people don't even take that into consideration, but crowds can feed the fighter. But I see Riyadh more as a neutral site, to be honest, because neither fighter is from there. They're both outsiders. They're both in a different culture. So I think Riyadh, the fighters that may feel more comfortable, maybe the ones that are directly signed with Turkey, and maybe they get some type of treatment when they get there. But these guys right here, you know, one from Mexico, one from Japan, I feel like they're in a neutral site. And I'm gonna tell you something. You see what happened with AJ? That he fought in the USA, and now he's saying, damn, the USA want tax money. The UK want tax money. Who else want money? I think because of that, we're going to see a lot more fights in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia. Because if I'm not mistaken, they not taxing. You're taking all your money. You fight over here, you could take your money. Take that. And if that's the case, we're going to start seeing a lot more big fights. Like anybody making, you know, 50 million and stuff like that, I think the fighters are gonna be like, yo, let's do this over there. Cause I'm not trying to give up half my money in taxes. Come on now. Life could be a dream. Whatever, son. Underrated Will. Top big fights. Listen, this fight right here tomorrow is gonna be a very good fight. It's gonna be a very fun fight to watch. I'm looking forward to this, my people. Now, here's another fight that we've been talking about throughout this week. And there's people on both sides, man. There's people saying, no, this guy's going to win. No, this guy's going to win. And people feel comfortable with who's going to win. Everybody thinks they're sure they know who's going to win. My peoples, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. January 31st. Woo, I can't wait for that fight. Emmett, I see Picasso using the jab in the first, then getting busy with the monster. If he can hold up the inside, there's gonna be a fumble fight. If now turns it into that, I think Picasso can go down. Can't go down and not make it to the final. If it turns into that type of fight, I expect Picasso to make it more of a fight where he's gonna be moving, he's gonna be using angles and trying to outbox him. If he's not successful with that, it can turn into a firefight. My people, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez is going down on January 31st. And I tell you what, man, there's people who say Teofimo is going to knock Shakur out. And then there's the people who say, no, Shakur's going to outbox him and even make it look easy. How does this fight really play out? You see, this fight is so competitive that I haven't even been able to make a prediction. This is one of those. Well, I kind of made it, to be honest. Matter of fact, I'll be honest, I know who's going to win the fight. Teofimo versus Shakur, I know who's going to win the fight. That's it. There, I said it. But my official prediction is going down on Box Center 2.0. Come on, my peoples. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. And, yo, not even 20 likes, my peoples. Hooking up this sweet science for y'all. And you can't even double tap that screen. Stop with the ghost watching. I digress. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez is a mega fight. It's a huge fight. Neither fighter is even 30 years old. These guys are both in their prime, accomplished in multiple divisions. It don't get no better. It's happening at the perfect time, my people. You know how we always complain that they wait too long and they marinate the fight too many years? This is perfect. Shakur Stevenson moving up to the 140 division to challenge Teofimo Lopez and trying to take the hardware from him. This is like Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran type of shit. This is what that's like right there. Sugar Ray Leonard, the boxer, Roberto Duran, the puncher, who thinks he can go in there and stop you and hurt you and disrupt what you do. Come on now. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Shakur Stevenson is moving up to a new division, and look who he's gonna face. Cause remember, Devin Haney moved up to fight Brian Norman Jr., and he was actually the underdog in that fight. People expected Devin Haney to get knocked out. Although I say people because I myself predicted that he was gonna put the Dre, the Swiss, and the Apple Beats on Brian. I try to tell ya, and you didn't listen. Told you guys he was gonna beat him up. I told you. But this fight right here is gonna be a perfect fight for us to enjoy the sweet science. You already see the people saying, nah, Shakur's gonna run and he's gonna make it a boring fight. Really? After watching the way he beat Zepeda, you're gonna say that? And Teofimo Lopez, we know the type of fighter that he is. We know that he's gonna try to apply that pressure on Shakur. Let's see. There's gonna be a heck of a fight. Marie, Shakur's gonna win that fight. I already told ya many times, Shakur's gonna win. That guy doesn't know how to lose. This guy, look, I expect it to be a very competitive fight. Both fighters are gonna show up, in the best condition ever. Both guys are gonna show up at their best. Come on now. No excuses, no way to... I mean, the only excuses I hear at this point is people saying, can't beat Tio. Cambosos beat Tio. So it's like, oh, well, because Cambosos beat Tio, I guess this is not going to be the big win, right? But think about it, my peoples. This is going to be a monster win for whichever guy walks out of the ring with a W. This is a huge win. Number one, I think Shakur is in the number 6 spot in the pound for pound list. If he wins this fight, he goes down to the number 5 spot, maybe even the 4th. And Teofimo Lopez, if he wins this fight, he either goes into the pound for pound list. If he isn't, I'm not sure if he is. If he's not, he goes into it. If he's already in it, he goes down multiple spots. 1 or 2 spots. Side, winner is top 5, pound for pound. So this is a big fight, an important fight with historical relevance because you're talking about world championship fighters. It don't get no better. It really doesn't. And I'm telling you, my peoples, this is going to be an exciting fight to watch. It's not going to be one of those, snooze fests that people want to say is going to be. It's going to be a good one, my peoples. We're really going to get that smoke. We're really going to get that action. Be ready. That's all I'm telling you. January 31st. By the way, I'm actually shadow banned. I've been shadow banned because I caught a strike on YouTube. And that shadow ban and that strike is going to expire on January 28th. 3 days before Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Looking forward to that. That's all I got to say. I'm looking forward to that. Come on now. That shadow ban is going to be over, my peoples. Yo, so, side, Bud definitely helping Shakur for this one. Bud wants to see Tio hurt. They've been saying it, man. They've been saying it. Shakur's going to be out there to bait him up. Y'all saw what he did to Zepeda. You seen it. Zepeda thought he was going to be chasing Shakur around and got bait up. My people, what do you think about all these folks who are giving credit to Jake Paul? What do you guys think about that? I've seen Oscar De La Hoya say, yo, that was great, man. He went 6 rounds. He went, with a two-time world champion. I seen Eddie Hearn saying, well, I didn't think he was a good heavyweight, but I think he's a good cruiserweight. What did Eddie Hearn see to suggest that Jake Paul could be a good cruiserweight? And I even see Max Kellerman, he went 6 rounds with a heavyweight champion of the world. An Olympic gold medalist, one of the best promoters in the game, and a guy who's known as a boxing guru. And they're all out there giving flowers to Jake Paul. To me, that didn't even add up. That made no sense to me, my peoples. Because Jake Paul was out there looking like a goofball, y'all. He out there rolling around in the floor and shit. So if he out there looking like a goofball getting pummeled, what is exactly we giving flowers for? And let me just say this. Jake Paul did not go 6 rounds with AJ. He survived 6 rounds against AJ. There's a difference. When you say, whoa, he went 6 rounds with the heavyweight champion of the world, it leads you to assume that he was fighting for 6 rounds and he survived that long. But I don't need to explain the first 4 rounds to anybody. The way that Jake Paul fought those first 4 rounds, anybody could have did that. You go to any gym, you find a heavyweight who's been training for 5 years, and they'll be able to run around for a few rounds and then eventually get knocked out. If you choose not to engage, you're just going to get chased around and eventually get it. Clay Moraine, I think American boxing may need all the help it needs. Gotta pick your poison. That's a fact. That is a fact. Emmett, Jake bit off more than he can chew. He put himself in the line of fire for a lot of money. Put himself in a tough situation. And he got hurt really bad. People don't really understand how badly hurt Jake Paul really was. Just think about it. He went from sticking his tongue out in the ring like this with a broken jaw in 2 places, acting like that didn't even hurt, to his face looking like a pumpkin the following day. So you have to understand, Jake Paul took a nasty, nasty right hand that could have even been worse for him. Punch like that could be worse. If anything, I say this could be an example that fighters like him should not be allowed to fight a championship caliber fighter. They should not be allowed. In fact, this is something that nobody was talking about. Nobody said nothing about it. I thought about it. I don't think I did a video though. But I wondered, how the hell did they sanction a fight between a guy who've never beaten anybody in the top 25, between him and a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world? How did they even get that shit sanctioned? But I guess money talks. Gonna make a lot of money. We gotta figure out a way to make this fight. Marie, Jake with his goofy ass Hulkamaniac outfit, man. Listen, the other day, that outfit had me crying, bro. Literally, tears came down my eyes. And I'm gonna tell you why that outfit made me cry and made me laugh. Because if you know that people are pushing the narrative that it's a fake fight, that it's a scripted fight. I'm telling people that it's real, and I'm having a hard time convincing people that y'all gonna fight for real. You show up with a Hulk Hogan outfit, you show up with a wrestling theme, when we know that wrestling is scripted, we know that wrestling is not real. We know that the outcome in wrestling is predetermined, and you're gonna show up with a Hulkamaniac outfit. I was like, you a goofball for that, bro. But I'm trying to convince people that it's real. You trying to convince them that it's fake? Is that what we doing? Like, it's crazy. That shit had me dying laughing when I first realized, oh my God, what are you doing, bro? Slint, what age is too late to start boxing? As I'm trying to become a pro boxer. So, honestly, I think a person could start boxing up until like 30 years old, maybe even their mid 30s. But for you to start boxing in your mid 30s and have any level of success, you have to have at least a certain level of athleticism. You know, if you played basketball in high school, if you played football, you know, you have to have done something to have the physical athleticism to make something happen in boxing. Side, he wanted to appeal to the Hulk Hogan WWE white trash fans. Backfired badly. Claymore Reign diabolical. Bro, how do you show up? We out here trying to convince people that this shit is real, and you trying to convince them that it's fake? You a goofball, bro. Claymore Reign, don't slant. Diablo, man, Jake Paul. I'm glad he didn't at least do some rip some shit off. Then it would have been a next level of corniness. This is boxing, but it made sense because look at the crowd. Did y'all see the crowd? This was a way different crowd than you're used to seeing. A bunch of YouTubers dressed in white, a bunch of content creators. I seen people in the front row doing selfie videos while the fight was happening. Like, damn, man, this motherfucker not even watching the fight. They recorded themselves over there. So it was a whole different crowd. A lot of little kids, too. A lot of little kids in those front rows. And when I say little kids, I'm talking about like teens, a lot of teenagers. Jake Paul has a lot of kids that follow him. So, and from that perspective, I respect him because he's showing kids that you could be successful, that you can go all the way to the top, that you can even con your way into fighting a world champion. You can do it. And I mean that, you know, jokingly, con his way. Jake Paul carved his own lane in boxing, and he's been extremely successful. Extremely. Side, country music artist I never heard of in my life in the crowd. Bro, they named like 3 people. Oh, such and such is here. They will put their face. I'd be like, who the fuck is that? Fuck. And they showed like a few people that they would put the camera on them, do a close-up, and I'm like, nah, I don't know. You know, in fights, they usually show you the fighters. Oh, look at this fight is here. This fight is here too. And they show you the hip-hop artists that are in the building. They show you the people that are pop icons. Yo, they were showing me people that I don't know who they... No disrespect to anybody that they show, but I don't know any of them. I don't know any of them. I don't know who they are. W. Buster, who gives an F about a bum? Jake Paul. It's his fans. Brian Davis, do you ever wonder why Jake Paul doesn't fight in a real man's ring? I mean, he does fight in a real man's ring. For this fight, him fighting a heavyweight, They made it a little bit bigger for him to give him a little bit of room for running. H. Buster, he made a mockery of boxing. Jake Paul, F. Jake Paul. He deserved what he got. Look, man, a lot of people wanted to see Jake Paul go down. A lot of people wanted to see it happen. And it finally did. He got knocked out. Imagine all of the folks who said that it was fake. All of the folks who said that this fight was going to be fake. All of the folks who said that AJ was going to take a dive. That he was going to take a dive. I'm like, oh, y'all crazy. You really believe there's people that were saying that Anthony Joshua was going to take a dive for this fight? That was crazy. And you know why I knew that was not even in the realm of possibility? Whether you like AJ or not, because I know a lot of people don't like him in the UK. I don't even know why, but he's disliked by a lot of people. But whether you like him or not, you have to understand, this dude never been down with the goofballery. You never seen AJ do it. We seen him go down on his shield. We seen him get stopped. We never seen this guy on no goofy shit. AJ's a true gladiator. He a fighter for real. He about that life. And not only that, this dude is a Olympic gold medalist, or two-time heavyweight champion of the world, and wealthy. AJ has been making millions of dollars per fight for years, my peoples. Why would you think that a guy like this with a huge ego is going to take a dive for money? When he could retire from boxing today, never step in the ring again, and he'll never have to work. His kids will never have to work. And his grandkids will probably not even have to work. Clay Moraine, how we spoke about the Nakatani fight, I feel like this can be a real test for him. His opponent is like 21-0 with 18. Do you think the debut at 122 could be a rocky one for Junto? I'm going to be honest with you. I saw some highlights. I've never seen a full fight of his opponent. See some short clips, and he looks like he can make it interesting. He looks, great fighters and elite level fighters don't dominate everybody. Everybody's not going to get dominated. This kid looks like one of those guys who could be like a Sam Noakes. I'm going to give you problems. I'm not going to go away. You're going to have to beat me up. So it looked like it could be a tough fight. Brian Davis, he isn't a real fighter. And the fighters won't fight him because he's a thin bum. Lost cause. We're not crazy. We just went by the last fights. H. Buster. Jake Sucker Tank Davies. He's okay in the UK. Anthony Joshua, he's okay. Though a lot of tax in the UK. Man, but he's complaining because they want to tax him in the US, or not they want to tax him, they probably already did, or want to, but he's saying the US wants tax money off of this 90 mil, and the UK want tax money off of 90 mil. Before you know it, he's not even going to end up with half of that. AJ going to walk home with 25 mil out of that. Maybe. Emmett, I'm all in for the Mexican fighter to shock the world. Whoa. Listen, my brother, I've been saying it. David Picasso is not a bum. He's not a guy that's there just to get beat up. He can fight. He can fight, my people. Ooh. Give me a hug. Good morning. David Picasso, my peoples, can fight. He's going to make it an interesting one. I want to say, man, salute to everybody tuning in on this Friday morning. This is another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Y'all know what it is, man. Somebody asked me yesterday, what are you doing going live on Christmas? My people's Boxing for Breakfast goes down, rain, sleet, snow, birthday, Christmas, it don't matter. If there's boxing going down, boxing for breakfast is going down. I hope you guys enjoying the show. And I want to say, tomorrow, we're going to see Naoya Inoue applying the pressure, doing what the monster does. Can Picasso handle the pressure? It's going to be about that. Can he handle the pressure, return fire successfully, and outbox the monster? Buster, Julian Jackson, the Hawk, one of the hardest punchers to ever lace on a pair of gloves, pound for pound. Pound for pound, when you watch Julian Jackson, that left hook, when he caught you with that left hook, it was a wrap like Reynolds. You was going to sleep brutally. The straight hand too, bang, brutally sleeping you. My peoples, I'm about to end this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. But before I do, I want to remind you guys that tomorrow I will be calling the fight live. Y'all know I'm going to give you the commentary. The left to the mouthpiece, the right to the wig piece, the left to the nose, the right to the toupee of the monster, and the left to the wig piece, the right to the snack box of Picasso. I'm going to be calling it live, my people, so make sure you tune in to Fight Night with Jay Smith. By the way, this fight is in the morning. Don't miss out on this fight because you think it's happening at nighttime. It's in the morning time. If you're on this side of the world, if you're in the U.S., in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, this fight happens in the morning time. So check your local listings so you don't miss it. I'm going to be giving y'all that live commentary, the elite level commentary. Side, Mike McCollum is my favorite. I'm half Jamaican, and he represents the motherland. Salute, my brother. Ooh, that man right there. Oh, you like them guys that go in there to bang it out and beat you up, huh? Joel Blackwell. Thus slice, let me slide, uppercut. Buster. He was tough, McCollum. He stood his ground. Tough fighter, very tough fighter. But if you think about it, man, back then there was a lot of fighters that had that style, that grit. I'm gonna beat you up. We're gonna, we're gonna see who's the tough guy inside the ring. They would out-tough each other. Marie. And not everybody celebrates Christmas. So you need to think about fans too. And you can always watch it back. You know what? It's true. It's true. That's something that I gotta take into consideration. I noticed that there's a lot of people that say happy holidays. So it's true. I'm with that. Whatever, Kwanzaa, Christmas, and everything else. Happy holidays, my peoples. Word, man. That's a good feedback, my brother. Size, salute, Jay Smith. Buster. Yeah, old school boxing. HBO, salute. Ooh. Oh, now you was watching that boxing. Boxing after dark? That was different. That was different when it came to boxing. Because that's when they was matching up all these top-level fighters early on in their careers. You were seeing a lot of fights. A lot of guys fighting each other when they were still young, banging it out. That was my favorite series back then, Boxing After Dark. Emmett, what a gift for 5 a.m. in the morning. Just boxing. My peoples, but this is what Boxing for Breakfast is about, my brother. And let me tell you the short story so you guys know how Boxing for Breakfast was born. So I used to always, watch stuff, watch fights, go back to watch fights in the morning before going to work, older fights. Sometimes I watched Barrera versus Morales a bunch of times. I've watched Ali versus Frazier a bunch of times. So I go back and watch these fights, and I would be having breakfast, and I would be thinking about these fights. Like, damn, this fight was crazy. And I would be thinking about future fights. Like, damn, I wonder if Shakur and Tank is going to fight. I wonder. So I would be having breakfast and literally talking to myself about all of these fights. And I thought to myself, you know what? I know there's a lot of boxing fans who are at home thinking about boxing, but you don't have nobody to talk to. Why? Because if you're a hardcore boxing fan, usually your family ain't that. So your wife don't want to hear you talking that shit about boxing. She watching some other shit. Your kids don't want to hear that. Your 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 brother, your cousin, they don't want to hear it like you want to hear it. So I figured that there's a lot of people, man, who want boxing content in the morning, and we don't have it. I'm over here talking to myself like a goofball. Like, damn, man, is Shakur really gonna fight Tank? Is that fight gonna happen? Yo, I think this guy's gonna win, bro. I think this is gonna. So why I gotta be a goofball talking boxing to myself when there's thousands of people out there who's doing the same shit? Y'all a bunch of goofballs too, by the way. We might as well get together in the morning, B. While I'm having breakfast, while you having breakfast, while we on our way to work, whatever it is we do it early in the morning, but we talking boxing. You see? Y'all need help. You addicted to boxing. You talking and listening and debating and arguing and trash talking about boxing this early in the morning, you addicted to boxing. And here it is, boxing for breakfast, to give you your daily dosage of sweet science nice and early. There you have it, my peoples. That's how boxing for breakfast kicked off. H Buster. Y'all stayed up to watch Big Daddy Bo versus Evander Holyfield, man. I watched all of the fights. All three of them live. In fact, the first fight, I cried. I cried the first fight because Evander Holyfield at the time was undefeated and he was my favorite fighter. Just because of his style of boxing. You know, the real deal Holyfield. The way that he went about it. I loved watching Evander Holyfield. And I totally expected him to beat Riddick Bowe. So him losing that fight, that hurt. That hurt, man. Bad. Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas, that hurt. That cut deep. Ugh. I really felt that one, bro. Real talk. Scott Fernie. Like I'm doing now. You see what I'm saying? That's it. No more sitting there like a goofball just thinking about boxing. In the morning, I wonder if this is going to happen. I wonder. Nope, now you got boxing for breakfast. Now I got boxing for breakfast because I was the goofball talking about boxing to myself. My peoples, hit that like button, man. Golly. Almost an hour and a half and not even 30 likes. Like I'm over here talking goofballery to y'all. Y'all know we talking boxing, man. But listen, Naoya Inoue versus David Picasso is going to be a very interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't made a prediction. So tomorrow morning, I will go on Box Center 2.0 and make a prediction on this fight. But it's been a real tough one because, like I said, man, David Picasso is not a cherry pick. He's not a bum like people think. So I'm expecting a competitive fight. Let's see how it plays out. Salute to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. H Buster was in the building. My guy side, Scott Fernie. Life of Drew was in the building. Marie De Bruyne, Emmett Trolley was in the house. And everybody else who tuned in, man. I really appreciate y'all. I always tell you guys, I really do feel lucky. To me, it's a privilege that you guys take some time from your morning to hang out with me. You know, the atmosphere that I try to put here is that this show is about us. It's about the love of the sweet science. You know, we're not going to agree on everything. And that's what makes it an interesting conversation. I don't block people. I don't send people on break because they disagree with me. I don't like the goofballery. If you making shit up out of thin air and all of that, I'm not with it. But y'all know what it is, man. This is all about the love for the sweet science. And remember, my peoples, tomorrow, Naoya Inoue versus David Picasso. I will be calling that fight live. I'm going to give you that commentary, the realness. Y'all already know what it is, man. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Jay Smith. I'm getting the hell out of here. I got to spend time with my family. I suggest you spend time with your family because that's what everything is about. Family, my peoples. One love to everybody. I'm out of here, yo. Bam.